Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of I Cast Fireball, an actual play 5e D&D adventure where we go through the campaign of Skulls and Shackles. I'm Thomas, your DM for this adventure, and around the table we have...
Lieutenant Ignis Halcon.
Maximus Shuns.
Ataraxia Kalian.
And Buster Bilgewater.
Last session, we had some conflict, not only with an external force like the Sahuagin and the sharks that roam this cove here, but within our party. Some ideals that battle against one another, some alignments that battle against one another, seem to have come to a head that needed to be resolved. And although the conversation ensued and there was tension, we were able to move past into this investigation to find this treasure. Has that tension been completely resolved? Will we be able to find the treasure in this pit that has been discovered? Let's find out right now on I Cast Fireball. So, jumping right into it, if you recall, the four of you had dug this gravel away and you had revealed these wooden planks beneath you. I believe you had taken one plank away, and below you saw, about 20 feet down, the ripple of the surface of water. That is where we join you.
I'm at the top of the tree.
You were coming down, but yes. You had been called to come back down, but yes, you had first climbed up, and now you were making your way downwards.
Making my way down to the bottom of this pit.
I knew it was coming.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Hot spot.
And that's what Ataraxia is doing. He's making his way down to the bottom of this pit. Face is passing. He's homebound, etc., etc.
Do the roots of this tree reach down that far, or is it something that we need to tie off ropes for to rappel down into?
So the roots get to your central area that you are currently at. But as you look down, the roots do not go forward and drop down into the water itself. So if you're going to fall into this water, it has to be either you drop down the 20 feet and plunge, or you drop a rope to slowly climb down into it. One thing is absolutely clear, though. There is no light source below the water that you can see.
If I could fall into the water.
I picture the cavern that Gandalf and the Balrog fell into when we're scaling down to this pit of water down there.
It's not as spacious as that. In fact, it is just the tube. So as if you were to look around, it is just the rock in the cylindrical form going down into the pool of water. So it doesn't open into this expanse that could be explored before this lake is there. It's just maybe a 10-foot wide diameter hole leading straight down into the water.
And we can't see the water because it's too dark?
So you have a light source that you kind of shine down, and you can see the top of the surface, but you can't see past it. It's too dark down there, and you get the good sense that if we do go into this water, we will have to bring our own light source.
Ignis will reach down and pick up a stone from near the roots of the tree, and will recast light on it and taking away the light from the other source, and she'll drop this lit stone down just to see how far to the water, and then what it kind of does. Does it hit the bottom of a pool, or does it just sink?
I'll read the descriptive text in conjunction with the light being dropped here. Now, the removal of these wooden planks reveals the sinkhole as I described, and it descends into the rock itself. Correction, it's actually 30 feet down to the surface, and it is dark, as I mentioned before. Now, the broken remnants of a wooden platform and stair cling to the wall, but the structures themselves have long since rotted away and dropped into this inscrutable depths of this water here. Now, as you take this rock and you cast light upon it, which I don't think I've asked before, Ignis, how do you cast light? What sort of like incantation do you do? Or
it isn't an incantation as much as it is she snaps her fingers a few times, which feels very reminiscent of how you might use flint and steel to light a fire. In the Rollterra religion, they use incense to carry their prayers, and so the angels have a way of essentially lighting, so it feels like lighting it like flint and steel to then cast it on, as if bringing forth that fire within an object, even though it's just light.
And sometimes you might have to snap a couple times to get the magical flint and steel reaction that you are seeking. And as you, with magical light, and you drop it, it falls 30 feet. And then it falls until it rests fairly quickly. I mean, there's a few seconds. It's not immediate, but it does rest on the ground, and you don't see it moving down below. So this doesn't seem to be infinite, and the light is fairly bright still. So it's not a diminished light due to distance.
So listen, I think it's time I cast Water Breathe, right? Like, if
well, if
there's
the stone's resting down there, doesn't look like there's anywhere to go down there, unless you really want to try and swim around and find some other cavern under the water.
It's my biggest spell. I really, once it's cast, well, it's not my biggest spell technically, actually. But I don't know. I just, it's 24 hours, so it'd cover us for the whole day. If there's any chance of us ending up underwater, it's verbal, somatic, and material. I need to be dry and breathing to cast it.
Also, Captain, it might be beneficial to get our very conveniently given to us and will not, anger any entity of chance in the future, our collapsible boat that we can collapse and then uncollapse down there.
That is not a bad idea. Did we bring that with us from the... Yeah, we brought it. We definitely did bring that with us from the shore.
We wouldn't have left it on the shore.
Well, I mean, and we can just walk back and get it real quick.
Would it be terribly inconvenient if we spent 10 minutes? I could ritually cast water breathing and save my energy.
That works for me.
So, I mean, it's basically like a free cast, right? Like, it's,
I sit down and stare at Buster, waiting for him to start ritual casting the spell.
I pull out the little piece of hay, and instead of holding it in my mouth and burning it like a fast burning cigarette, I put it on the ground and I start to burn it like a piece of incense. And it takes roughly 10 minutes. And the whole time it's going, I'm sitting down, cross-legged, staring at it as it's slowly burning, just going, breathe water, breathe water, breathe water, breathe water.
I just imagine we're all just standing around, just staring in an awkward scene.
Well, Ignis is going to look around the cavern while that's happening. She has no interest in standing there watching Buster do this. Since she's observant, she's just going to continually look around the cave and see what else there is to see. I don't know if you'd like me to roll for that, or if it's truly there's nothing else to see and she just takes 10 minutes looking around.
Yeah, so your passive investigation with your observant feat, you pick up that I think it's like an 18 that you have, right?
17, yeah.
Yeah. So you pick up some really fine details of this room, and there are no traps. There never were any traps in this particular room that you can tell. You do recall out of the rocks that you moved out of the way that they were very loose, and probably did indeed, the sheer volume of the rocks, you actually recognize that the volume of the dirt was just below, like maybe an inch or so from the surrounding area around it. So there was like just a tiny bit of a divot, just completely covering the loose rock area, which, as you think, you have 10 minutes to think about, helps you realize like there was a bit of mass that was underneath these rocks that is no longer here. And if it was perfectly level, like the loose rock and dirt would be perfectly level with the rest of the room here, it should still be under this rock. So you're fairly confident something was under these loose stones, rocks, dirt that has been moved. But that takes you about the full 10 minutes to kind of come to this like realization with your observations assisting you. So you're fairly certain something was here. It's just been moved and looked to be covered back up, essentially. And after this 10 minutes, Buster, your piece of straw, and all four of you, you feel something come over you as the incense travels towards your throat and actually goes down your throat. And like kind of burns a little bit, but you're like, and you all kind of cough like, but you don't feel any changes past that point.
Max will turn to the captain. Captain, if you'd like, I can start the voyage down the tube, if you will.
Yeah. How about you go range things out for us and see if there's anything weird going on down there?
Could I have the boat?
For sure. And I pull out the boat, hand it over to Max.
And Max will take his Sahuagin spear with 20 foot of rope attached to it and jam it into a root that's right near the entrance to this drop. And he will... he's just going to, instead of climb down, he's just going to like kind of look at everyone and go, well, see you down there. And he will jump with the rope. But he's not going to hold on to the rope. He's actually jumping straight into the water.
Gotcha. So yeah, and this is, the rope is it's tied to you, isn't it? Or did you tie it to your waist?
It is. He would untie it, obviously, at the very end. And so just stick it into a root and then jump so that it is dangling 20 feet for the rest of them to climb down if they would wish.
And I can't recall, but this is actually a chain.
Yes, it is a chain. You are right. It is a chain. That's correct.
And so as you fall the 30 feet, I'm going to allow you to roll a athletics check. Or no, a saving throw here as you hit the water. A strength saving throw.
Could I ask for why?
Because you're falling 30 feet into perfect glass water.
Haven't you ever been cliff diving before?
I have.
Okay.
It's not a high DC.
Yeah, that is a 22.
Okay, yeah. You're able to not belly flop. You were able to land perfectly to where it is painful, it hurts, but you're good.
Because Max hits the water, goes under, but then just rises up unnaturally with his feet standing on the surface because of his armor that allows him to water walk.
That's true.
And so he's just standing on top of the water.
So as you go under, you do see a few things in the surrounding chamber here. As you fall down, you notice that this chamber is about 30 feet wide, maybe 20 to 25 feet in width. And from what you can gather, to go to the surface below the water, it's about 20 feet to the bottom, where the rock is sitting very peacefully. And that's all you're able to gather as you rise immediately back up to the surface.
Max will, down there, he will take out from his pack a torch and get ready to light it, and he'll take the boat out, and he'll be like, okay, cheesy roll-up. No, that's not it. Classic stacker. No. Baja Blasted.
Oh, so that's the big one.
That's the big
Okay.
one.
Oh, dang it.
Just like squished up against the side of the...
That is exactly what happens, actually. It pushes him to the wall with such force. He's going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage. When it is so quick.
When the bit backfires.
Gotta have the right magic words.
He throws right back to the wall, and it is so congested in here, it actually shoots upwards through the hole, knocks the chain out of the hole onto up above to where the three of you are looking down. Any remaining boards that were covering the hole get splintered open and thrown to the sides of the chamber
How big is
above.
Baja Blast?
It's
Like a
a
full
gigantic ship.
Oh, shoot.
I
Forgot.
I guess we could just climb this now.
There
Shimmy
is
down the
zero
mast.
space. There is zero space to look down at all. It is somehow magically formed to fit the cylinder perfectly and it's just locked in place at this point, being like, well, I guess this is the form I have to take right now. Nothing is splintered as a result. You see the sails are poking out at weird angles to try to be ready to be sailed.
think it was Chalupa. I think Chalupa was the answer.
I look down into the tunnel and say, Crunchwrap, so that it folds back up.
Yeah, as you do Crunchwrap, as you say Crunchwrap, Ataraxia is, and Max, you fall back to the water, just as if it were glass to you, and push yourself up. The boat does leave your hands though, as you are thrust, and so it falls out of your hands and falls into the water and sinks to the bottom of the 20-foot chamber below.
Shame. This is what it feels like.
What you doing down there, Max? Kind of feel like weird stuff's going on.
I was testing the space.
I was testing the space.
Max can't swim because he has water walk. He can't swim down. It'll be like one of those. It'll be like a kid with floaties.
Is it diveable, Max? Is it diveable?
Is it diveable?
Can
or
I
is
dive?
Is there a cave entrance on the side?
Yeah, like is it deep enough we could dive into it?
The pool?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That's not my question. My question is it a pool that we have to dive down into the cavern and swim under the water, or is it off to the side there is a hole in which to transverse on top of the water in the boat?
Is this a sailable cavern network?
It is not.
Well, it's dark in here. I can't see.
So the rock at the bottom of the pool does illuminate enough for you to see that, and you can actually shove your head under the water just as soon as it gets to your armor. It keeps like pushing you up, but the head you can kind of like, as if you were like sticking your head into a hole in the dirt. You kind of like look around, and it actually, to the west of this chamber, you do see another opening going away from this chamber. But this is all completely submerged underwater. There is no passable above water caverns. Everything has to be traversed below the sea.
How am I supposed to do that with this armor?
Take off the blasted armor.
How long does it take to... Thomas, you gave me a cursed item. How dare you? Is this leather? No, this is half plate. Oh my god.
How deep is the rock,
plate.
Max? How deep is the glowing rock?
Max will relay back that it's about 20 feet.
I dive.
All right.
He's gonna make you roll.
Buster jumps down.
I love the water.
And yes,
I want to be in it.
I do need a strength saving throw, please.
That's fine. You're not gonna make me do like an acrobatics or something, or strength save. Good old -1. 6.
A 6. Okay. You dive down, and as you dive down, the bottom half of your body starts to rotate just a little bit too far to where you're not a perfect pencil, and you're just like, at the last second, you're like, oh no. And you do take just 1 point of bludgeoning damage on this D6 here.
Oh, that's really embarrassing. How does that feel, Josh? You totally screwed that up, man. Oh my gosh.
1 point of bludgeoning damage, but I'm in the water, right?
You are in the water, submerged, sploosh. And you can see this cavern as I've described previously. It's pretty bare. There's nothing in here of like importance or nothing to note. It's very clear that this is just meant to be like a dead-end cavern. The rock is illuminating the entirety of the cavern for you. And sure enough, there is that passageway that goes to the west. And the interesting thing that you notice being down here is that there is no moving water. Like there's no like sucking or like stream or current. This is all still.
Yikes. That's not good. Can I grab the boat and the glowstone? And then I will swim to the surface.
As before you get to the surface, as you look westward, you do see that the cavern actually does seem to slope upwards at like a 45-degree angle, so you can't see into the next cavern, but the hole does appear to be like 10 feet in diameter. That there seems to be still a lot of space to move forward in that direction, but it looks like between cavern to cavern, at least in some instances, it would be hard to perceive what is going to be in the next cavern without traversing to it. This is also highlighted by the fact that there's seaweed that is sort of clinging to the walls in some instances. So just something to know as you break the surface of the water right next to Max, who's laying there inches from your face.
Question, Thomas. Do I get the sense that this water is just like it's still because it's still very natural, like seawater, or is it like it's been sitting here for a long time and will probably make all of us sick? Still water.
This is pretty safe water.
Okay.
It just happens to be
No currents.
not directly connected to the cove, and the cove doesn't really have many currents anyway, right? Because it is secluded into this. So just no currents. Yeah.
Okay. You guys coming down?
Max is going to start taking off his armor, because I have to.
We're gonna have to go underwater.
Ignis, while she's standing up at the top with the captain, will look over at him, and he has a bandana around his horns, right?
Yeah, just like a bit of old sailcloth.
Yeah. She'll snap her fingers a few times right at the edge of a hem until it catches with light. And the light creeps through his whole bandana. Ignis will use the captain as a light source.
The captain lighting the way.
Nifty, nifty.
So does that take the rock's light source down here away?
Yes, the rock is now
we're
off.
in the dark. Yeah.
We're now in total darkness, me and Buster.
Cool.
I have dark vision, so what do I care?
I'm treading water next to laying down Max.
Then Ignis will dive down into the cavern, trying to avoid both of the other pirates swimming and laying down in the water down there.
Now, here's Max. You said that you're taking the armor off, which you have to if you're going to be traversing underneath the water here. Do you have a replacement armor?
I mean, I have my old armor, but I assume I don't just carry that around. You know, I would assume we don't have
Yeah.
This isn't Baldur's Gate. We don't have multiple sets of armor just in our pack. Like, oh, this is the festive occasion? Well, let me get out my festive armor.
I am going to go with what you said, Jacob. I was thinking in that same way of you probably wouldn't have an alternative armor set here to use. So just make note of that on your AC while we're going through the depths
But we wouldn't
of this
encounter anything
cave
in the
here.
water. I mean, we don't have a cruel DM. We have a cool DM.
Definitely not. Not like
Yeah.
a mimic ship or anything.
You took care of the Sahuagin and the Hammerheads out in the cove, so there you go.
Problem solved.
And you'll probably leave your armor above because you can't bring it along with you.
Yeah, I can. I'll put it in my pack.
No. This is yeah, that's right. This is magical once you
Yeah,
attune to it. That's correct.
Dang.
That's correct.
My life vest armor.
It's just a life jacket. You have the one strap that goes underneath your legs to buoy you up as well.
I would imagine one set of armor could
Yeah,
fit
that's
in
fair.
my pack.
That's fair.
Especially because it's just the half plate itself. So
Yes, absolutely. You are able to, and that's not an issue.
Thank you,
But
DM.
Let's just make a note of that AC as we move forward in this dungeon. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, who is leading the swim as all of you are immersed in this cold seawater? Who's leading the way?
I mean, I will. I want Buster's gung ho for this.
I would suggest one of our light sources.
Do you have an additional light source that you can use?
Ignis can see, and Ataraxia is the light source.
Well, you want the light source behind you anyway, right? Like you don't want it to be in front of you. So I'll swim directly in front of Ataraxia.
So Buster, Ataraxia, Ignis, and then Max.
I'm in the back. I got relegated to the back.
I mean, that makes sense. Buster is very gung-ho to get treasure.
Ignis will take the back, that way she can look back for things coming up on them behind. Use her dark vision for something.
Max's tail will just conveniently slap her in the face a couple times.
Okay, now, this next room that you come into, it is a, like I said, you do have to ascend at a 45-degree angle, but it's, like I said, there's these caves, at least this first one, this corridor, doesn't get smaller than 10 feet wide. So you're not feeling claustrophobic here. Not that any of you would feel claustrophobic, at least to my knowledge. But as there is a bit of seaweed that you have to push away, and it does, like, time to get, like, tangled up in you at some point, Buster, and you kind of like kick it away and brush it off, and you have firebolt, right, in your prepared spells. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so you might do like a firebolt and like burn
it away.
A little bit of seaweed burns away. Not
Burns away in the water.
That tracks.
Yes. It's magical fire. It's magical.
I also have Eldritch Blast, so I could do that.
Even better. Eldritch Blast. Just force it away. But as you get to this next chamber, it is about 30 by 40 feet.
Guys, I could just do
big.
shape water. I just shape water to move it. I just move.
Hey, there you
5
go.
feet of water. I can move.
Hey,
yeah.
You're being friendly to the environment,
Yes,
too.
that's what I will do.
Good job. Proud of you.
So many ways to move water. Let's spend some more time talking about this.
So, as we get to this next chamber... Oh, and Jacob, or rather, sorry, Max, I imagine you get your... you asked somebody to get your spear with the chain as well, yeah?
Yes, I do.
That was at the top?
Yep, I did.
Great.
I
figured you'd want that in the water here. So you tie the chain back around your waist, and you're carrying that spear.
Any signs of other creatures passing through here? Like other... If I'm moving seaweed, I imagine that probably not.
Go ahead and roll a perception.
Could I actually roll a survival as the ranger and just see if there's like any signs of this being a habitat for something?
So we've got a roll from Buster here for perception, and then we're getting a survival from Max, correct? So Buster, what was your perception roll?
It was a nice, heaping, huge, hearty 8.
8, got it. And Max, what's your survival?
17.
17. Okay. Buster, there's not much more to see past what I've told you. You, if you're being honest with yourself, you got a little bit of adrenaline buzzing through you with the possibility of treasure, especially magical treasure. You literally had a legend given to you of buried treasure, and that legend is coming true. Like what is more exciting for a pirate, nay Buster, than actually seeing the fulfillment of an old pirate legend here? It's the stuff you've dreamed of. It's the stuff that you have yearned for since you took to the high seas. And this crew and this ship and these endeavors are finally giving you what you seek. Good old cold gold. Good old gold. So nothing else to view in this room other than there is a passageway north going to another section of the cave, and then there's a passageway to the southwest leading to another portion. Again, they're slanted either downwards or upwards, so you can't see into the next cavern itself, but there seem to be 2 other places you can move without issue. We're going to jump over to Max, though, with his 17 that he rolled. Max, this being from you can tell these 2 other passageways, this is a network of caves. And from your experience, you know, network of caves, something's got to be living in here. It's very, very rare for a network of caves to not be inhabited unless there was a terrible threat or an overwhelming predator that has rushed out the bottom dwellers or any other animals. And so if there is an abscess of animals as you move through this cave network, your fears might start to rise a little bit as that might be taken as a confirmation by you with all of this experience being a monster slayer.
Max will then just telepathically communicate to Buster, who's leading the pack. Helmsman. Just like freaking me out of it.
Oh my god.
We can talk.
He turns around, he goes,
We can talk.
We can talk underwater?
We can breathe. We can talk. We can engage. Sound travels
You can talk,
underwater.
you can talk, you can bicker, you can talk, you can, talk.
I just didn't know how that worked. I would imagine like still talking underwater is still like.
Sound doesn't travel as far, I suppose, but yeah, I will turn around just a little bit.
Max, we can talk, Max. We can talk.
He'll just keep telepathically. Oh, good to know. Like, he'll just keep talking
All right,
telepathically.
look. Listen, everybody. What way are we going to go? Are we going to go to the... are we going to go further down, or are we going to go up? I think we should go down, personally.
Down sounds pretty good to me. I'm down for down.
Helmsman, whichever way we go, I would say.
He's talking in my head, guys. Captain, could you tell him not to talk in my head? Could you just tell him to talk normal?
Max, I'm sorry. I have to ask you to talk out loud instead of talking in your
I
head.
think Ignis doesn't know I do this. She's still like, Buster, what the hell?
I'm pretty sure he's just making it up.
Max will just kind of like look curious and be like,
What?
telepathically, danger ahead.
Which way is ahead? Is it down ahead or is it up ahead?
Thomas, you never gave me direction to possibly the danger.
No, I didn't say where there was danger.
Telepathically to Buster, the DM never gave me specifics to the direction of the danger.
Listen, I vote we go down. Captain, what do you think?
I'm down for down.
Buster swims down.
Before we leave this area of the cavern, Ignis will take out her dagger that she has and just make a little notch in the side of the cave wall, showing which one we came from. Because if we're going into a cavern of underwater where we can't keep notes and we can't draw out the map, we need some way to mark which way we came from.
Yes. That's how we justify the map here. Well
Correct.
done. Well done, Ignis. Inspiration for Ignis.
Hey, Mickey finally got an inspiration from Thomas.
I finally
Look
got
at that.
No. I've given one to her recently. You can't throw that crap on me again.
I've gotten like 2 that I haven't used because I get them so rarely that I never use
We
them.
gotta start just using them more.
It's like in a video game when you get a resource and you're like, well,
I might need this later.
And it's like, oh, no, you get it like 5 times in an hour. And it's like, but I need it.
On my character sheet, my inspiration is checked as if I have it, but I don't trust it.
I do. I would trust it.
All right, we move down, Thomas. We move down.
Yep, Buster, we're going down swimming.
Thomas, I will let you know, Max is just gonna keeping an eye out with survival, if possible, for any more signs of what possible danger there might be. Claw marks on the sides of the walls, potentially. Carcasses, anything and everything.
Great. And you have the alert feat, right? So
I
you
do.
can't be surprised.
Yep.
Is that right?
Can't be surprised.
That's right. Okay. Good to know here. Good to know.
Thomas, I can be surprised, just so you know.
I'm actually banking on that. So.
As Max proves regularly.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain, just going back to the spell he's doing, Max has never spoken to Ignis. And
No,
I think
he
that
never has.
Ignis
He's done it to...
Yeah, well, he did it once to Ignis in that very first, Sahuagin. And I think in my brain, in my rewrite of the story, I'm just like, I think she thought that was inspiration or revelation, right? And so she's like, maybe he's getting...
She didn't, from what I recall, she didn't know where the source came from, because he wasn't like, I'm
No,
Max.
it just said behind you, and she just jumped right into it.
So she just thought, it came from somewhere, could be the Sahuagin, could be but it did not, and it was very brief from what I recall, so it wasn't like that's Max.
So I've rewritten that in my own mind that she thinks it's revelation, and so I don't think that she really believes that Max can do this whole thing.
I'd love all of that.
As Buster swims on, he starts to hum to himself,
Tim Flanagan lived on Walking Street, a Harrigan mighty art. He had a rogue both rich and sweet, to rise in the world he carried hard.
just
Yes,
thinking,
because if there's danger, please sing our presence.
It's perfect because sound travels more efficiently in water than it does in air.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's hilarious that Buster loves treasure so much, but has zero skill to find it or to be aware. Oh, there's danger. Okay, let me start singing.
Yeah.
Underwater.
As we move forward, let me go and reveal the areas for you here. Again, these caves and this network of caves, nothing to write home about. I mean, there's no sprucing up. There's no tapestries here. There is a lot of seaweed, and there's a lot of just... So it's hard to swim through this, especially with your clothes. I mean, it's a shame because there's a lot of space. There's no light to really accent anything though, and there's nothing honestly quite descript about all of this. But as you're singing to yourself, Buster, you come into this large cavern.
Oh, what will I dance you around the floor and your tutter shake? Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun if Flanagan's awake.
It's all underwater still. It's large. It's 50 by like 40 feet, maybe 35 feet. And as you come up, as you crest over into, because you're going upwards into this cavern, as you come into this cavern, the light source, it's a little dark behind you, but as Ataraxia keeps coming up behind you, you see pretty quickly a few familiar creatures. In fact, these creatures happen to be Sahuagin.
Ah,
they are.
come on.
They are turned around to you, and they're now looking at you and sort of like in shock. One of them is like eating a crab and just like half eaten in his hand as he's like looking at you. Most of them have like javelins with those chains around them. And as the four of you just swim into this location, and Buster, you kind of stop. Ataraxia, you stop. Max, you're right behind Ataraxia. And Ignis, you, I imagine, start swimming quicker before the Sahuagin can react, and you get about to Ataraxia before I need everybody to roll initiative.
Come on, good
This
initiative.
is our first
Good initiative,
full
good initiative, good
underwater
initiative.
combat.
Yes. Dirty 20.
Nice.
Underwater combat is the worst.
Okay, let's go with Buster. What'd you roll?
Dirty 20.
20. Max.
12.
Ignis.
A 16.
Ataraxia.
That's going to be a real strong 5 right there.
5. All right, now it's time for my guys to roll. And if I recall, their dexterity is not great. I recalled correctly.
Does everyone remember that they have the +5 hit points
That's right.
that I gave for aid?
Yep,
Yes,
still got that marked
I
down.
did not remember.
I lost one with the fall.
Well, Mickey,
Yeah,
I don't think
so.
you have it because I think I only
Yeah,
could give
yeah,
it to
'cause it was 3 people.
3 people,
Correct.
and you had the highest hit points, so I gave it to just the next.
Now, why would Max have not given help to Ignis?
So weird.
Why
There's
ever
such
could
a
this
great
be?
relationship.
I gave advice, not aid.
I gave advice, not aid. I gave
I mean,
meaning
even
to
more
words.
valuable.
Ignis
depending
will
on who you
remember
ask.
this.
Ignis will remember this.
No, she won't. She doesn't even know I cast it on everybody.
That's
else.
actually true. Yeah, she doesn't even know.
So there's 5 Sahuagin. Are there sharks?
Nope, just Sahuagin. All right. So the order, here we go. Buster, 2 Sahuagin, and then Ignis and Max are going to go. So as it currently stands, let's describe the scene distance-wise for everybody. This is going to be a little bit difficult if you decide to go 3-dimensionally because this is a 20-foot tall. From the bottom to the top, it is 20 feet tall. Okay, so you can go underneath people, you can go above people without needing to fly. So if you do choose to do that, I will need a lot of help as the DM here, just so we are aware of combat here. But we're all clumped together. We got Buster, Ataraxia behind Buster, Max adjacent to Ataraxia, and Ignis directly beside Ataraxia. The closest Sahuagin is 10 feet in front of Buster, but all of them are pretty much kind of standing in a line to where they're facing off against you, all 5 of the Sahuagin that you can see. So they're all within 20 feet of you. Within 20 feet of you, you have one enemy. So that's just kind of the layout. And we'll just say right now, all of you are on the same plane, so nobody's below or above. But within 20 feet, Buster, it's going to go to you first.
I mean, we all know what's going to happen.
Great depth on stave. Your tidal wave.
They all need to roll a dexterity DC 14 saving throw.
Nice, because this is how wide? 30 feet wide, is that right?
30 feet, yep.
That barely gets all of them. So
10
it's
feet.
perfect.
10 feet high, I think, or thick.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah. And I just want to rush. I want to throw them into the ceiling if I can. And
Yeah,
of
you
the
gotta
cave.
do some bludgeoning damage. I think that's a great move there.
And Any who are fail are also prone, technically.
And what's the AC DC that they're looking for?
DC 14, and I'll roll the dice. Damage.
Failure, 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 failure.
All right, they all take 11 damage, and they're all prone.
So they all get thrown into the ceiling, and I will say because they get thrown into the ceiling, that's another D6 damage for them. You go ahead and roll that D6, Josh.
All right. 6.
Whoa.
Nice.
So that's 17 total?
17 to every one of them.
Wow. These Sahuagin are looking so hurt. They're still alert. They're still awake, but prone. They are thrown, but they are hurt pretty bad. They are bleeding. That one guy has dropped his crab, and most of them have let go of their spears, and they're kind of just floating as they're up above the surface. We'll say they're 10 feet above you currently because the tidal wave threw them up, okay? So 10 feet above you distance-wise when we think about that. That's your action. Well done. That's a pretty darn good spell.
And then I will swim behind the Max.
Okay. Now, you don't have a swim speed technically, right? So this is going to take... swimming is
like twice my
double
speed.
movement, right? So you can normally move 30. So it's going to take you a full 15 to swim behind Max. How do you swim? Do you do froggy swim? Or do you
Yeah, it's full Jar Jar Binks movement.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
All limbs moving at full motion. Yeah.
I didn't know if it was pinwheels, just
Buster gets just a big side eye from Max as he swims by. Just
All of yours, Max.
You are able to move directly behind Max without issue. And it's just now that you realize Max doesn't have his armor on. And you recall that he is maybe a little bit squishier here, but you're going to have to worry about that on a future turn because it's the Sahuagins' go. 2 of them, they recover. They do lose half of their swim movement because of being prone in the water. And they are going to... so the one is directly in front of Ignis. It's going to get right next to her. It swims 10 feet down and 10 feet towards Ignis, which is right adjacent to Ataraxia, since, again, Ataraxia and Ignis, you're right next to one another. And it is going to just try and stab into you, two-handed Ignis, with its spear. So it's going to roll, does a 18 hit.
It does underwater, which is the same as above water.
Okay, I was like, what? All right. Sounds good. So that is going to be doing, 2 points of piercing damage. I rolled a 1 on the die. Oh, so sad. And then that's going to be its turn. The other one is going to move directly next to it, Ignis, and it's going to try and attack you as well. These Sahuagin get a special ability. It's called Blood Frenzy. So when a creature doesn't have all of its hit points, they get advantage on every attack against them. So since you've taken damage, Ignis, they get advantage, which is good because the first roll was a 3. The second one was a 9, however, so that's a 12 total, and I don't believe that hits you.
Ignis swats it away in the water as she sees the second one coming.
So as the blood from your wound is rising into the water, the Sahuagin sort of gets a little frenzied look, and it stabs, but you just swat it away, and it gets frustrated as it bares its teeth at you. Yeah, so that is its turn. Ignis, we go to you. As these Sahuagin are directly in front of you. Ataraxia is right next to you. But you have 2 directly in front of you. The 3 others are about 25 feet away, both upwards and in the forward direction. What are you going to do?
Okay, Dungeon Masters, I'm going to do something I've never done in D&D. On page...
Not attack.
271, on page 271 of the DMG, they have rules for disarm.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I disarm the Sahuagin that attacked me, that stabbed Ignis? It looks like I make an attack roll and then they make an athletics or acrobatics to try and keep a hold of the thing they're disarming.
And for our listeners here, this is the 2014 edition still, but in the DMG, there are combat options here to spice up combat, which I don't know if you know this, I really like it to be spiced up, hence why we do cleave. We do a lot of alternative rules here, hence why I love the Battle Master and the Fighter because of all their special abilities that they get here. So you said 271. Let's just read this real quick for our listeners here. A creature can use a weapon attack to knock a weapon or another item from a target's grasp. The attacker makes an attack roll contested by the target's strength, athletics check, or dexterity acrobatics check, similar to if you were pinning them or trying to grapple with them. If the attacker wins the contest, the attack causes no damage or other ill effect, but the defender drops the item. The attacker has disadvantage on its attack roll if the target is holding the item with 2 or more hands. The target has advantage on its ability check if it is larger than the attacking creature, or disadvantage if it is smaller. Mickey, heck yes, let's do this. If I hadn't given you inspiration, I would give it to you right here because you know how I love to spice up combat here. So that's a second inspiration to you, but you already have it. So
Is it a spear or is it the chained javelin?
So this is a spear, but it is holding it in 2 hands. I specifically attacked as a 2-hand one. So that means I have disadvantage on this to save
I
it.
have disadvantage
You have disadvantage.
because he's holding on tighter.
No, I
Yes.
have disadvantage. I'm sorry.
I have
disadvantage.
That is correct. So you will have disadvantage on this. Unfortunate for you, but let's go for it.
Use your inspiration. Yeah, you got it. Why not use it?
I'm going to use my inspiration because that was a really bad roll.
There
They were
you
both
go.
under 10. Okay. See, inspiration helps.
Hey!
That's a 22.
Oh, well,
The double
that
deuce.
certainly beats my 8. The double deuce.
Oh, well, I would have beaten that without needing that inspiration.
That is an 18 that I rolled total on there, so that is
An 18 total.
an
Okay,
18
well,
total. So,
Then it does beat.
yes.
So Ignis will, as that spear stabs into her, she will reach out with both hands between this hooligan, who most things when you stab them usually fall back or look scared, and Ignis just grabs it between their hands and they lock eyes, and the Sahuagin sees that fire in her eyes and she wrenches it out of her hand and then tries to stab him with it. Because fighters are also proficient in simple and martial weapons.
And you have a double attack. The first one was to disarm, and now you're attacking with the exact same weapon that you just took from them. Oh, the beauty
And spears
of this.
and javelins do not have disadvantage under the water.
Yes, that's correct. So you're going to roll an attack against this unarmed Sahuagin now, Miss Ignis.
And it was a natural 20.
Let's go. Let's go.
Poetry!
All systems
poetry of it.
go,
We need to have Ignis fighting underwater more often. Holy cow.
Yeah, goodness gracious.
So she takes that spear, flips it around, and stabs at Sahuagin right back in its gut for 8 points of slashing damage, piercing damage, versatile damage.
As you described, Ignis, this Sahuagin takes it right in the stomach before its eyelids just close and it starts to just float in the water. Not floating up or down, but just a motionless corpse floating before you bring the spear back out and kick the body towards its allies as it floats towards them.
And then she'll take that spear and aim it at the other Sahuagin that tried to hit her that missed. And as a bonus action, will manifest an echo.
Nice. And right next to you?
Yeah, the next one will appear as she swipes the spear through the water, and it makes bubbles in the water. As those bubbles dissipate, grayscale Ignis in what is the D&D equivalent of a wetsuit. She came ready to be in the water. This one is ready to be in the water, unlike this Ignis.
Why not just a wetsuit?
And they're both holding spears.
If it's another
Sure.
dimension, there you go. They've invented
You know what?
wetsuits
She's in a
this
wetsuit.
dimension.
With scuba gear and
There you go. It's just black paint
Anyway.
all over her eyes.
Navy sealed
she's in
it.
some kind of slick black oily outfit, and then she has the spear. So both of them are pointing spears at that Sahuagin.
Nice. Well done, Ignis. Oh, well done. Max, it is now your go.
Okay. Max is just going to briefly say, so hopefully everyone can hear it, and he will say it. He won't do it. I'm going to get the job on Friday. He'll say,
keep alive if you can.
He'll say that and kind of almost like give a little side eye to Ignis. Because the last one he tried to keep alive, she punched out. And then he'll then just look back and like smile a little bit at Buster, because seeing like Buster's like try to swim away, super like awkward and like discoordinated, and then just very almost unnaturally, because you're like he's a dragonborn, like he's almost a lizard. Lizards can't swim. He'll just like shoot almost like a fish, because with my deft explorer feat, I swim as fast as I walk. And
That's awesome.
so I'm just
Terrifying.
natural in
Yes.
my speed.
Absolutely terrifying.
You were ready for this encounter.
Yeah, well, except for my frickin' armor. And then what he'll do, I'm going to swim over to kind of almost, not side by side, but I'm adjacent to the Sahuagin that's right next to the wall.
Okay. On the for our sake, on the west side
Yes,
here.
on the west side. So I'm, again, not like standing or swimming next to him, but I'm right adjacent to him, and I will, instead of him, Max is actually going to turn and face the two Sahuagin that are about 10 feet away to the east or in the middle of the chamber, and he'll just, you see like almost this water getting sucked into his lungs, but with water breathing he can do that, and just echoes of water will go out, and he is just using his breath weapon.
All right, and that's a DC 13 Dex or Con save.
That is a dex save.
It's a natural 1 and a 5, so both fail.
Okay, they're taking 2d10 damage.
Oh my gosh.
Grab my 2d10s. That is not the greatest, but 8 damage.
8. How does the shockwave destroy these two Sahuagin, Max?
I think there's no like visual, like an outer change in them. It's not like they're like ripped apart or anything, but it just hits them and they like kind of crumple up, and then just out of any pore, socket, just all of a sudden just the insides of them start floating out, because just the sonic thunder damage just basically ripped their insides that are now leaking out.
Oh, we be pirates, folks. Yep, that's right.
And he'll then
All right.
just like, he'll turn and just like look in a very Max smile at the one at the wall that he's near.
Nice. Okay. And that's your turn, I believe, yes?
Yep, that is, well, no. Then he'll take his crossbow out and shoot that guy. Because I have two attacks. Actually, I'm not going to shoot that guy. I'm going to, because all of them got hit by the tidal wave, correct?
Yes.
Max is going to grapple that one.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a grapple. I'll say they have disadvantage because they're technically prone still, because they haven't gone in this
That's
initiative.
true.
So I will roll disadvantage.
What is, grapple is just my athletics?
Yeah, it's your athletics against my dex or athletics, which my athletics is better, so I will do that.
23.
Ooh, I got a 14 with my disadvantage there. And so as you just grab the Sahuagin around the waist, the face, I mean, how are you grabbing him?
I'm going to grab, because he's kind of floating up, like kind of above, because he's prone, he'll just grab his arms and just like super flex, kind of like he did the last one, and just flex his arms behind his back, so the Sahuagin's now floating like upward with his hands.
So his chest is like pushed upwards,
Yes.
like
And he's
struggling,
almost like,
legs kind of
yeah,
struggling.
he's holding
as
his
well.
arms and almost pushing him up onto the ceiling as he's holding his arms behind his back.
Ooh, very good. Anything else, Max?
That is it for my turn.
Ataraxia, we go to you.
So, Ataraxia is very used to like fairy firing all of the baddies, but there's only 2 left, and one of them's being grappled. He knows that Max wants to keep one of them alive, so Ataraxia is going to peer in between Ignis and Ignis's echo at the one on the other side that's not being grappled, and just look up at it and say,
Are we more than you bargained for yet?
and cast Vicious Mockery.
And that's a save on me, right?
That's a Wisdom save, DC 15.
That is a 16 I got.
Silvery
did get a
barbs.
six.
Silvery barbs.
Oh
on
my
that.
gosh. That's a 9.
Okay, that's going to be 2d4 psychic damage. Let's see if this is enough. That's 4 psychic damage.
It is enough for him to give up the ghost.
There we go. Finally, Vicious Mockery is doing some good work on the field.
He grabs his head, and as he does, he just curls up in the fetal position and just starts floating awkwardly on his side, like perpendicular to your current orientation, defeated from...
The number of times a 13-year-old has mocked somebody to death.
Very real. Very real.
Outstanding. Well, there's that. And anything else, Ataraxia?
I guess I'll bonus action Bardic Inspiration to Max, because he's still got a grappled Sahu again.
And who do you give the Silvery Barbs inspiration to?
That's right. I'll give that to... If we're trying to diplomatize this situation, who's going to be the most diplomatic?
Probably you.
Probably me. Can I give myself the inspiration from Silvery Barbs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got it, right?
I'll do it then. Great.
The first time you've ever done that.
Silvery Barbs 5e. You can choose yourself. Yep. On the next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw within 1 minute, you get advantage.
All right. This is so unusual for Ataraxia, but he's going to give himself inspiration.
There we go. He's like, all right, I did good. I did good.
The Vicious Mockery worked. Okay, here we go.
This Sahu again is going to try to break free of your grasp, Max. So they are going to roll to break out. So again, this is their athletics or dexterity against your athletics. So we're going to do a contest here.
What's the bardic inspiration roll?
It's a D8.
I'm going to use that.
And it cannot be below a 2.
Correct.
I'm going to use that actually right now. That is a... I don't want him to break free. I'm going to use my inspiration actually that you gave me.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's a lot better. 22.
I got a 16. So
I would have lost if I didn't use the inspiration.
Hey, there you go. So, cannot break free, cannot attack, screaming as far as it can, just screaming and flailing, ending the first round of combat here. Probably the last round of combat here. And before we sign out, Max, what are you doing before we sign out this episode?
I was just going to take my turn, which was to try and intimidate him.
Well, we will go and see what that intimidation looks like on the next episode of I Cast Fireball.
A cliffhanger? Ooh.
Well, we're not over any cliffs physically, but
A water
situationally
floater.
and socially we are on a cliff. Well done, Buster. Josh, that was a clutch tidal wave in this close-quartered, just completely decimating the HP of all of these clumped Sahu again. Well done. That was...
It was my last 3rd level spell, but I thought to myself, we could waste a lot of time on these guys, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, and that was a well-spent 3rd level spell, if I do say so myself. That was well done there. And players, of course, Josh, Jacob, Mickey, and Ned, thank you for playing. Listeners, thank you for following along on our wacky adventure that we have here. If you want to shoot us a message, you can shoot us an email at icastfireball2020@gmail.com. We also have social medias at icastfireball20, where you can interact with us and send us DMs where we can respond. We had somebody recently send a DM for a word of recall question, which we should have released a word of recall not too long ago here. But word of recalls, we love them. We love interacting with you, the fans, answering your questions, and digging deeper into some of the decisions we've made here. So if you've got future word of recall questions that you want to see answered at a later time, shoot us a message, shoot us an email, or, of course, you can go to our patron-exclusive Discord where we have a thread directly related to Word of Recall questions, and you can ask other questions just on the daily about what our favorite food is, if we'd rather be a pirate, a samurai, or a cowboy. things like that. And then you'll be able to get the bonus content that we post on Patreon as well for our Patreon exclusive listeners. So go check that out and see which tier works best for you. We're going to shout out a few people on this podcast, though. We're going to shout out our sister podcast, Improv Tabletop. They've got a fun time over there. They recently wrapped up my all-time favorite mini adventure called Jumanji Falls, where it's Jumanji mixed with Gravity Falls. One of the things I love about it most is my wife is in it. And after recording some of the episodes, she goes, some of these episodes are a little creepy. Is Gravity Falls a creepy show? And I go, yes. Yes, it is.
Surprise.
Because she's never watched an episode, and she never will watch an episode of that.
No, she won't.
And I am happy for that she never will. And so if you want to see how somebody interacts with the Gravity Falls world, knowing no context about it, go give that a campaign a listen. But Ned's got an exciting thing that's going on in their Patreon exclusive feed over there with Improv Tabletop. Ned, you want to talk a few seconds about that?
Yes, we recently started our campaign Serpent Sea Sagas, which is a traditional, like me and my friends over at Improv Tabletop were like, we miss the feeling of those old D&D campaigns that we used to play. So we're using a game called Dungeon World, which is very narratively focused, but it's designed to evoke the feeling of Dungeons and Dragons. And we've got this Norse mythology, epic Norse mythology themed campaign that we're going through with it's the most ambitious thing that we've done so far on Improv Tabletop. Really excited. And we're posting previews of that on our main feed. So if you want to get just like a taste of what's going on there before you subscribe to our Patreon, you can go check it out.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. You should go check that out. Go see if that works for you as well. But lastly, shout out Titans of Altera. Josh, we're getting close to the end, aren't we?
I mean,
we are almost there.
Dude, with any luck, it'd be awesome if we've got those. We've recorded the last 3 episodes of season 3. They have happened. I just need to get them post-produced and published.
Oh, the content is out there, folks. Will it into existence. Go give Josh some love over there, and don't forget to leave both of these people a 5-star review on the way out. Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends and fellow wacky adventurers. But until next time, I'm Thomas, your DM, and around the table we have
Lieutenant Ignis Halcon. Ataraxia and Blaster. Let's keep that water going, everybody, and we'll see you next time.